Good morning, class. Here we are again. Today is the follow-up to yesterday's assignment. Yesterday, we looked at section 1.3. Today, we are going to look at the answers to section 1.6. So I had a good time reading some of your answers. Excellent job with that, but I do have to say, Daniel Scott, listen to me. I'm not going to tell you guys who it was that answered David Bowie. Okay, so stop asking. I'm not going to do it. So today I've got my I Refuse to Grow Up 40th birthday mug that the former guidance counselor Shannon Falkenberg gave me for my 40th birthday. I know what you're thinking. Mr. Newman, you're much too young looking. You don't even look a day past 39. It's true. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. So today, there's a couple of themes that go along with this lesson, and there's a few things that I want you to pull out and understand. First of all, there's the idea of, number one, some of the organelles are visible under the compound microscope, lower power magnification, and other ones, like the ones that are part of the reading, are visible under the electron microscope. So when we think about the size of these organelles, we are talking about organelles that are measured in micrometers, okay? So they're parts of a micrometer. So the scale of this is infinitely small almost, which to me is really an amazing thing about how a cell functions. It's one of the most incredible things you can think about and study in biology, that all the functions of living things are kind of built upon these really tiny organelles doing their job. So that's the first thing, is separating the ones that can be seen under the compound microscope from the ones that can only be seen under the electron microscope. And another theme is this idea in biology that we look at, which is that form follows function. Form and function go together. So basically what that means is you can tell a lot about the job of a structure of a living thing by looking at the structure. So you can tell how something is designed, and you can tell what it's meant to do based on that design. Its form follows its function. The way it looks kind of points towards its job. Kind of makes sense. So that's one of the key themes. And then I guess another one of the themes, again, is the organelles themselves and their job. So we want to become very familiar with the job of the organelles and make sure that we are 100% clear so that we can tackle the assignment that is being released later on today. Okay, so the big assignment for the unit, one of the big ones, is being released later on today. I'm going to give you about a week to do it. It's going to be good stuff. One more shot of coffee. I'm going to share my screen with you so we can go over the answer key, and that way you will be clear, as clear as you can be anyway, on what we're looking for. So question number one was to describe what organelles are. So I think we're pretty clear on this now at this point. Organelles are those tiny specialized structures within all cells that float around in the cytoplasm. Okay. For number two, your concept maps should all be a little bit different, but there's a couple of things that I'm looking for. In your concept map, let me increase the size of this just a little bit. In your concept map, what I'm looking for are some of these key ideas. Number one, I want you to try to group organelles with similar function. And remember, for this question, you had to go back and you had to look at the ones from 1.3 as well. So I wanted to see in your answers that you had things like the nucleus, the cell membrane, those ones as well, but also the smaller ones like the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus, things like that. So the ones that weren't mentioned, you need to include them all. The second thing for your answer that you need is you need to kind of group them in a way that makes sense. So maybe you group them according to size, which ones are visible with electron microscopes, which ones can be seen with a compound microscope. That would be acceptable. And another way to do it is according to function, which is probably the best way. So can you group them with organelles that have similar function? And I mentioned that on the drawing cells video, also on the PowerPoint. Things like the endoplasmic reticulum and the ribosomes both have a very important role to play in protein synthesis, production of proteins. So those are two that could be shown together, for example, in your concept map. And there are others that are involved in recycling that could be shown together. Question 3 had to do with what would happen if a mitochondria stopped working. Now, the function of the mitochondria is to produce power or energy for the cells. And it does this through a process called cellular respiration, which isn't really important right now, but it will be later on if you keep studying biology. But here's one answer. If organelles like the mitochondria stopped working, then the other organelles would also stop working because they rely on the energy that mitochondria produce. Then the cell would probably die because it wouldn't be able to produce things. So you couldn't just put the cell will die in your answer. That's not enough. You have to relate that back to the function of the mitochondria somehow. So don't assume that I know that you know what the job of the mitochondria is. That part about being the powerhouse of the cell, and then the cell would die if it didn't do its job because other organelles would shut down, had to be part of your answer too. And then this last question requires a little bit of thinking. Enzymes are chemicals that break down other chemicals. They're usually used in digestion and other biological chemical reactions and things like that. The key idea, again, form following function. So there's lots of Golgi apparatus structures in the cells in the stomach because there's a lot of protein to be digested. There's a lot of materials that need to be broken down. So the cells in the digestive system would probably have more Golgi apparatuses in them than the ones that are, let's say, in the skeletal system, where we don't want materials to be broken down. We want bone tissue and osteocytes to be built up. Okay, so that's that. Only 4 questions on that one. Like I said, you did a great job with those. Again, please pay attention to these structures. They don't go away. It's part of biology at the basic level. Again, today's coffee mug is the I refuse to grow up mug. And because there is a major assignment coming, there is no assignment that goes along with this video. So all you had to do is just watch it. Please make your corrections so that you're clear on things. And I will see you tomorrow.
That was easy.
Are they gone? Are they gone? Okay, good. Whew, wow. Actually. Okay. Is it still on?